First tonight at 10, for the second time in the past month, a downtown Hot Springs business gets an unexpected surprise, crashing through its front door. THV 11's Max Siegel working this story for us tonight. And Max, I know last time it was a deer, but what was it this time around?
I know you would do it.
I don't know, and a lot of people
on
our Facebook page have already said they wouldn't do it, no matter how much money. This is $500,000. How does this impact Arkansas, being that we ban same-sex? The suspect in the Boston Marathon bombing will be in court this afternoon. Johar Tsarnaev faces dozens of charges in the attack that killed 3 people. Vanita Nair is at the courthouse. Police stated that Johar ran over his brother in a vehicle while fleeing from authorities. U.S. federal investigators say only seconds before Saturday's plane crash in San Francisco did the captain realize an automated throttle was not controlling the plane's speed. The National Transportation Safety Board says the auto throttle was only in a ready position and hadn't been engaged. The plane crash landed at San Francisco International Airport. 2 passengers were killed. The judge in the George Zimmerman trial ruling today that Trayvon Martin's cell phone text on fighting and a defense animation depicting the fight between Martin and Zimmerman cannot be introduced as evidence. A man is dead, another in police custody after a shooting at a bar in Hot Springs. Garland County deputies have charged Alan Edwards with first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. Deputies say Edwards got into a fight with James Fowlks yesterday at the Papa Top Tavern. Edwards allegedly left the bar but returned a short time later with a gun, shooting Fowlks. He died at the tavern. In a THV update, we now know the names of the 2 victims of a double homicide in Truman. The teen accused of murdering a former University of Central Arkansas basketball star and Benton pastor will stand before a Tennessee judge in the morning. WRAG reporting 19-year-old Dwayne Moore has been indicted for first-degree murder in the death of Jimmy McClain. Simeon Wright was there that fateful night when everything changed, not only for him and his cousin Emmett Till's family, but for the civil rights movement. I had the opportunity to sit down with Wright, who lived those changes firsthand. Changes now on display at the Lehman Library in North Little Rock. So when you look at this picture, what do you think?
Well, I try to visualize Emmett how he was in 1955.
On a recent visit to the natural state, Simeon Wright describes a photo that he says sums up his cousin, 14-year-old Emmett.
See him smiling, always smiling.
But in turning the corner at this civil rights exhibit at the Lehman Library in North Little Rock, you see a darker image of Emmett, of what happened to him for whistling at a white woman in Money, Mississippi. An image of hate. Emmett's mom, Mamie, collapsing at the gruesome sight of what they'd done to her son.
In this particular case, just because he was black.
Wright, who was 12 at the time in 1955, recalls the days, months after that, and his aunt's response. She refused to have a closed casket funeral, refused to keep this lynching a secret.
This was different because the mother, not only did she talk about it, but she showed the world what these men had done to her baby.
After a jury acquitted the 2 men accused of the lynching, Wright and his family moved up north to Chicago, and his somewhat quiet life, solemn and peaceful views, all changed.
I was angry, and I wanted to take my revenge out on the other expression.
Wright says he blamed everybody, and in 1966 missed a chance to march with Dr. Martin Luther King.
He said if they spit on you, you can't spit back. If they hit you, you can't hit back. My friends and I said, no way.
And for years, Wright would have a different fight inside with himself, having to come to terms with what happened. And at 24, he did.
I was sitting in a tavern, think I had been fighting at night. I heard a voice. People don't believe in hearing voices. Didn't say, I love you. The voice didn't say, I know what you've been through. Said, if you die in your sins, you're going to hell.
He committed his life to Christ, and just like that, the anger left. So now, when he speaks to groups, especially kids, he asks this one question.
So if you had been there, would you have helped us? And every time I ask that question, every answer is, yes, we would have helped you. That's all I want the kids to understand. Help your fellow man.
Simeon Wright says he doesn't hate the two men who, 4 months after being acquitted, admitted torturing and killing his cousin, adding in a sense he has peace about the deeds that J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant have done. They died in 1981 and 1994 respectively. As for Carolyn Bryant, the woman Emmett Till whistled at, Wright says she's still alive, but he's never spoken or met her. Millennials, also known as Generation Now, also known as Generation Y, are 3 times larger than Gen X and surpass baby boomers by 4 million. Retailers and businesses are now scrambling to attract this tech-savvy and fast-paced crowd. When it comes to sending correspondence,
I would probably send an email.
Or going out,
I definitely would just text them or Facebook them.
they prefer using social media to a phone call.
And group texts are awesome because it's never usually just one friend. I have to text like 10 other people.
You know, a lot of people don't like to answer their phones as much anymore.
And because technology plays such an important role in their lives, businesses are doing what they can to capture the nation's largest group, millennials.
Retailers, employers, everybody in the marketplace is looking for a way to access the disposable income that this generation has.
Income psychotherapist Ken Clark says, ironically, doesn't even come from them.
Mom and dad are helping keep them afloat. They're pumping money into their bank accounts.
With a click of a mouse or a touch of a button on their smartphones, hunting around for the best prices has changed the way millennials shop.
This is a generation that largely has existed without delayed gratification. This is a generation more than ever that looks for the best price on things, that reads reviews.
But not of the hard copy kind, like when it comes to obtaining an actual photo album or looking at photos.
Most of them, I would say, are on disc or on flash drives I can just plug into my computer.
It seems a lot more time consuming to go to like Walgreens and get my film developed.
And when it comes to the workforce, half of all millennials are already in it, according to Nancy Martinson with Human Resources Management Association. Her group represents several dozen human resource professionals in Central Arkansas.
There's approximately 10,000 millennials turning 21 every day. 46% of our workforce will be millennials by the year 2020.
Because of these numbers, employers, she says, have changed how they do business.
At one time, you were expected to have several copies of your resume. Now they want you to email or apply online.
Martinson says more companies are now allowing telecommuting, almost doing away with job fairs. Some employers have even changed their hours, all to accommodate millennials.
Some employers are very resistant. Others are open-armed.
She says the best employers can do is bring out the best in all their workers because we can learn something from each other. Baby boomers are now teaching millennials in the workplace, and millennials are mentoring the baby boomers as well.
And taught them more about technology and social media.
Something we must all get a handle on. But if you know what TTYL, hashtag LYMI means, you're halfway there. And if there are any concerns about this generation being too fly-by-night, psychotherapist Ken Clark says, don't worry. They'll eventually have their grown-up moment, just like the baby boomers when they gave up their free-loving hippie ways to become CEOs. Peace.